According to this ESPN report and a few other reports that are just trying to drum up some stuff right now in this smoke season, Brandon Aiyuk could be signed by the Commanders and probably, given a 1-year prove-it deal. JD5 is his best friend, or probably still is. But is Adam Peters interested in going down this avenue? Because he could have traded for him. He decided to trade for Debo. Does anybody think that Adam Peters looks at Aiyuk as a better option now? Now, he might be a better option now than he was before because he's free. You sign him to a prove-it deal. You're not taking on a big contract. So it's hard to know if this will end up being something that we're talking about as a reality versus just some buzz and speculation by John Keim from ESPN. But this is something that a lot of people are predicting will happen because of the ties of JD5 and Aiyuk. And this stems back to the year they traded, or the offseason they traded for Debo Samuel last offseason, where it was constant Aiyuk and JD5 hanging out together, and JD5 pushing for the organization to trade for Brandon Aiyuk, not Debo Samuel. And so there's a lot of reasons why this speculation has some merit, but I do believe that it's probably not something that's going to happen. I do believe that Adam Peters is smarter than that. I do believe that Brandon Aiyuk would be a waste of a signing. I do believe that on a 1-year prove-it deal, because he's going to be released by the San Francisco 49ers, there's a chance that it's worth the risk, I suppose, and then you just move on. Also, real quickly, we'll pull this bad boy up. I'm on the clock in a draft right now. We're going to draft here on underdog, promo code Smitty. Let's take Puka Nacua with this pick. I'll pull that up in a second. I don't have the right page loaded. The Fantasy Football Show Draft Edition begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Now, we'll take some calls on this one, and we'll have some discussion. Again, this is not like, new information. We've definitely heard this, prediction for quite some time now. And the truth of the matter is anything can happen. And this is certainly something that feels more likely to happen versus like a trade or taking on a big contract, because he can be free, because there was a lot of talent there, because JD5 wants it. Maybe he still does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he thinks Aiyuk's off his rocker right now. Probably not. I bet you JD5 still is interested in this. We'll see what happens. It certainly isn't going to be something that holds the team back, though, because he's going to be on a 1-year prove-it deal. It's very different than investing a ton of money and draft capital and all that, and then you're stuck with it. You can't walk away from a big trade like it would have been had they acquired him. But I just would circle back to the fact that before he was a head case, before he got injured, before he played like trash, even before he got injured, because he got so much in his own head, and he's a wreck right now off the field, they didn't want him then. Adam Peters didn't see the value. So what makes anybody think a guy who hasn't done a single thing yet, a guy that took the Niners' money and really delivered nothing the entire contract, he just got $30 million a year and delivered nothing. What makes anybody think that that's a healthy environment to surround JD5 in, coming off of a pretty rocky year where it was, blamed on injury, but it was a rocky year nonetheless? I don't think it's smart to put JD5 in any sort of turmoil, especially from a guy that appears to be a little bit wild right now. Let's see if we can load this up. Okay, so we're on the clock right now. Puka Nacua. If you guys want to draft with me on the next one, underdog promo code Smitty. Let's see here. Brock Bowers is pretty nice right here. I'm going to go Brock. We'll go Puka and Brock. Nice back-to-back situation we got going on there. Let me change this over. And put that there. There we go. So Pickens is the next best player available. Drop there right there. Code Smitty gets it done. Anybody wants to draft on underdog, they'll match your first deposit 50%, all the way up to $1,000. So I wouldn't sign Brandon Aiyuk. He's potentially a toxic player, and that's not what JD5 needs. So that's my take on it anyway. So a lot of people are going to have different opinions. That's fine. I don't care. Some people will say, what's the risk? And there is something to that at the cost of entry, which will be a lot different than, like I said, if they had traded for him. After this selection, we'll open up the phone lines. Top running backs available are Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne. I'm not going to force that because your boy does go best player available, but you do have to also keep in mind when things get very even, Steven, and they kind of are right now, that you do lean position of need, but best player available is always the approach that I deploy, unless I'm trying to do something, and show you guys like a strategy of some sort. Walker's pretty nice here. Breece Hall's pretty nice here. Etienne I like a lot here. Let's go Kenny Walker because we don't have a ton of Kenny Walker. I don't know that I like him any higher than the third drafted player on a team, though. Even if he lands in KC, it'll be hard for me to draft him in 2. But I guess I could do it. I think we'd have to feel it out. But this is a pretty good start, I think, especially when you wait till the third round, 4 picks into the third round and you get Kenneth Walker. And if he goes to KC, this is a pretty decent, build so far. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. We're doing it live. We will be maybe drafting a second one. I'm not positive. So get in here and let's see what's what. Aiyuk, there's nothing really but speculation. But I'd love to hear from you what you think. Do you even want it? You're a Commanders fan, or you're just a JD5 fantasy football owner or prospective owner. Do you even want it? Who wants it? To me, there's more negatives than positives. The only positive is that we're all wrong. And he's an elite player still. Somehow, some way, he shakes free from his off-the-field drama and attitude and situation. We're all wrong, and he delivers. That's the only positive. And I can think of other receivers that are on the open market right now that are just a lot better option. Especially, you're always trying to give JD5 what he needs to succeed long term. You're not always looking for these 1-year prove-it deals. So trading for A.J. Brown and giving up more to get it done is worth it. Getting BTJ, I guarantee BTJ is available at the right price. George Pickens, certainly available at the right price on the tag via trade. Jerry's crazy. Drafting one of these guys just makes a whole bunch more sense. Walking into this number 7 overall pick, I like Sadiq as well. But you grab one of these receivers, top 2 receivers, not Lemon. Grab Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate here at 7. Jeremiah Love at 7. That's what JD5 needs. That's what JD5 is going to thrive with not this Brandon Aiyuk nonsense. But phone line's open if you want to have an opinion on that. I'll definitely talk with you about it. Hendy. Best ball, I like Hendy in 4. I do. I still do. There's a lot of risk involved, granted, but at the end of the day with best ball, this could be something where it develops in week 8 and you're just trying to beat the other 2 teams in your grouping to advance to the first round of the playoffs. And that's not that hard of a thing to do, really. And you can do it without Hendy, or you can do it without Hendy for half of a season, stay afloat, and then if he gets on his horse, you start taking off, and then you're really drafting him for the playoffs and just need to squeak by as the second or first highest scoring team in your original grouping. A lot of people think in best ball you're competing against, hundreds of thousands of people, and you are technically speaking, but you really aren't. And the way that you break it down makes so much sense to just say, worry about getting out of your grouping of 12, which you all compete from weeks 1 through 14 in on Underdog, promo code Smitty. So you're trying to get out of, they'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. You're trying to get out of your grouping, right? Now, geez, man. Now I'm going on the other extreme here. I went wide receiver, tight end, no running backs, and now I went Walker, Hendy, Scat, which feels good though. I feel like it's doing pretty nicely. Oh yeah, top 3 advance, right? Top 3 advance. So you're trying to get even more so. Top 3 advance, and you're just trying to get out of your grouping of 12, and you all compete weeks 1 through 14. You're trying to get out of your grouping of 12. Pretty easy to advance, and you start planning and drafting along lines like this, where you're like Scat, Hendy, Walker. What am I getting during the stretch? Because I'm going to assume that I squeeze through. I'm going to assume that I have such good depth, too, that it's going to carry me. You have that, like Blake Corum and like Algier last year, kept you afloat, got you into the playoffs. And then once these players are on their horse going crazy, then all of a sudden, you're kicking it. It's an interesting squad for sure. I'm a Commanders fan. Local reporters are already saying it's a done deal bringing him coming in as a Commander. Yeah, local reporters don't know anything, bro, about this situation. They're just trying to be right first. It's certainly possible. It doesn't mean they were right. It's a logical stab in the dark to suggest that Brandon Aiyuk will be signed, but I just think I think that there's a lot more to it. And it's cheaper, and so the risk is a lot lesser on a 1-year deal. That's why they didn't do it earlier. The risk was too high, but the risk isn't that bad right now. So I'm not like crazy hell bent against the idea, to be honest. I just would rather go after a different player. I think there are much better options on the board. DK Metcalf. Yeah, I think Burden going around 4 is just, it's so early, man. It's so early. I don't know that we're going to be drafting a lot of Burden anymore. At least not a ton of Burden. And I like the guy. I love the guy. We were higher on him than most anybody his rookie year for sure, because to me he was potentially the second to third best receiver in the class. And when he landed in Chicago, it definitely wasn't my favorite landing spot, and it still isn't, because there's lots of mouths to feed. Even now, even getting rid of DJ Moore, it still potentially could be a rotation we're not really in love with. Feels like, oh, they got rid of DJ Moore, there's a lot of, it's going to happen now, right? Not necessarily. Geez, man. How do I pass on this? I haven't taken a second receiver yet. This team's pretty loaded though. Let's see what happens here. Cortland Sutton. Husseini, appreciate you, bro. Phone lines are open. Dial in. Love the Tyler Warren pick, to be honest. I didn't need it because I got my boy Bowers, but definitely love this Tyler Warren value over Loveland. Loveland in 4. Tyler Warren in freaking almost round 7. Big difference. Big, beautiful difference, I'll tell you. Ricky Pearsall, a lot of good talent left. 2 guys that I specifically want right here. Wilson was 1. You guys like Pierce or DJ Moore? Moore right here. I think I'm going to go with DJ Moore. I do like Pierce a lot here, but DJ Moore certainly feels like a fantastic second receiver, waiting until 7.4 to take the second receiver. So I like this a lot. DJ Moore and Puka Nacua, Bowers, Kenneth Walker, Henderson, Scatterboo, Burrow. Where's Wandell? Aaron, probably Tennessee right now is the favorite. Doesn't mean it's going there, but Tennessee's sounding like what the buzz, that we're hearing. Tennessee, especially if they end up going, let's say, Jeremiah Love. Vader says Pizza Party Squad. Might be. I like it. I like my team. Love the second draft slot team. Gibbs, Bucky, Nico, Buka, Lamar, Warren. Not a big fan of the Pearsall pick, but that could be good. Jamar Chase in the 3 spot. Chase Brown, Josh Allen, McLaurin, Harvey. It's got some potential. Mine is in the 4 spot. Puka, Bowers, Walker, Henderson, Scatterboo, Burrow, Moore. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
And I like the team 5 right next to me. JSN, Neighbors, Brees Hall, Loveland, BT, Washington, Tootin's pretty solid. I like mine best though so far. It's definitely awkwardly built, but it was built using best player available. I like my running back room, to be honest. Think I'm going to hit some things. Walker, Hendy, Scatterboo, Algier, it's pretty solid. I mean, I'm definitely light at wide receiver, but at this stage in the game, I'm looking at wide receivers downstream that I like as much as the ones right here. So I just went ahead and passed on a receiver here. Took one of the last running backs that kind of feel like they have, potential unquestioned workloads, and Algier probably will. You're live, Husseini. Speaking of unquestioned workloads, whoever goes to KC probably has just that. And what are the chances, Husseini, Algier, the KC Chiefs view him more than we do? And when they say we're going to go big, let me merge Travis in while I keep that they go big at running back. That's why they got rid of Pacheco. They're going big at running back. What are the chances, Husseini, do you think that your Kansas City Chiefs feel like Algier is that going big and we're shocked that was what they meant? Because a lot of people think he is that going big type player. Some people don't. Some people do. How pissed would you be if it was Sadiq, who's a great pick for the Chiefs, and then you brought in Algier?
I don't know, man. I think Algier's good, but I think if you're gonna go with Algier, you might as well keep Pacheco. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I don't really like Pacheco, but
can't stay healthy,
Algier
though.
Doesn't really. Algier doesn't really tickle my.
Your fancy
too much.
But at least Algier can stay healthy. Pacheco can't. So maybe Algier. Algier gets a bad rap even for me, I'll admit, because he's playing second fiddle to Bijan, and it's always easy to cut him down to size. But he did have his monster rookie season, and under what's his face, Bozo, and Arthur Smith Bozo. I'm just picturing his mustache back then. But Arthur Smith, and then when he shaved it was even worse. Arthur Smith is definitely a kind of a mess, but we got to remember, all of his unfolding of his career happened in that space, and so we're going to judge him for that. He gets stuck behind Bijan. Naturally, anybody that gets drafted behind Bijan is going to always be looked at as a lesser commodity from that point moving forward. And so I just wonder, and again, I'm not trying to suggest that I believe that Algier should be that guy that the Chiefs say they need to move on and get a big name player. I don't believe that Algier's that guy, but I'm just curious who else does, outside of our community in terms of like NFL minds, not necessarily fantasy minds.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I definitely think that Algier is, like, if I'm just being honest, I definitely think Algier is better than Pacheco because I think that Algier at least has vision. I think Pacheco has the worst vision in the history of NFL. I mean, that's just me being biased, but as a fan. But I just think he has the worst vision ever. He just runs into his own lineman. I don't know, man. He just weird. I don't know.
There was a
he
time
was good in the beginning.
Yeah, there was a time
where he was really good, but after his injury, he came back and he just wasn't the same.
Regardless of Pacheco, because we all feel that way. I just wonder Travis, do you feel like Algier can be the guy that other people may think he is? I don't know. I'm gonna go Coker here. I love Coker.
I think Algier can be like a good running back. I don't think he'll ever be elite.
Yeah, I agree.
But do you think the Chiefs might think that he could be the guy they're describing?
I think there's a possibility.
Yeah, knowing the Chiefs and how they operate, they definitely could view him as, like you said, as that big swing. And I think in my eyes, that's not a big swing. That's just a
I know that. I'm definitely trying to be very clear about that. I do not agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, my questions are about the Chiefs, not me or you.
Yeah.
Do the Chiefs? Do we think the Chiefs?
So
what?
Definitely. I definitely think that the Chiefs can, knowing the Chiefs and the way Andy Reid and Brett Veach operate, they definitely could view that Algier as like you said, as the big swing, and then they will use their 9th pick on like you said, a Sadiq or if Jordan Tyson or Cardinal Tate is still there, which, I mean, Tyson might be, but I don't think Tate will be. But if he's there, then that's who they would draft or something. Go with a receiver to replace Rice if Rice is questionable with his future. And I really don't think that the Chiefs are gonna, even if Rice, nothing happened to him and he's safe for this year, I really don't think the Chiefs are going to sign him to a contract after this year. I think they're just going to be done with him. So they're definitely going to have to replace him at some point. And so, and that might be Sadiq, that might be someone else, but if they sign a running back like Algier or whatever.
Let me go over to DJ real quick and ask him the same thing. Okay, DJ, what do you think? I'm not asking what you think. I'm not asking what I think. I'm not asking what Husseini thinks. Do you think that the Kansas City Chiefs, when they say we're getting rid of Pacheco, we're going big at the position, do you think they think that Algier is that?
No. And he isn't.
Yeah, I mean, he isn't.
Or otherwise, just in my opinion. So, no.
Agreed, but do they think that? I don't know, man. I feel like
they believe that. That's what I'm saying. No.
Okay.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do. And I think, if nothing else, because traditionally they draft late. Chiefs have 2 first-round picks. They haven't been in the hemisphere of 9 in a while. And I would be surprised that they don't just go and get Love. That's what I think they mean by
it. Well, Love going to the Chiefs is Love going to the Chiefs. There's a higher likelihood that they have to move up. There's a higher likelihood that Love goes 3 than he goes 9. And there's so as we get down here, this is the final spot that he potentially could fall. But Cardinals are going to look at him at 3. I believe the Titans are about 50% likely to take him if he's still on the board at 4. They met with him yesterday or today. The Commanders, I think, are going to strongly consider the way that this will, like the Chiefs are looking to get some support for Mahomes while he comes back from the ACL tear and just shoulder the workload in different places. I think JD5 in a similar context that they want to do that for him too, so they can develop JD5 without any hiccups. I think the Saints obviously are probably the biggest bet to get him if he slips past all those teams, and then it's like 70% chance they take him here, and like the odds that the Chiefs have left on the board, they'd have to move up. It's gonna be fun to watch, though, man. I can't wait. Brandon Aiyuk or Travis Hunter, guys.
Travis Hunter. Smitty, can I ask you
but
something
it's
real
close.
quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Real quickly, let me read my team off. It's definitely a wild balance here. I've got Puka Nacua, Brock Bowers, Kenneth Walker, Henderson, Scattaboo, Burrow, DJ Moore, Tyler Algier, Worthy, Coker, Dobbs, Hunter. 4 straight receivers. But I like my receivers. They're really, really solid. I mean, Puka Nacua, DJ Moore, Worthy. Worthy's got a lot of upside. I know Husseini likes him too this year, but he's a Chiefs fan, so like you can't even. But I do think like Husseini said, like a lot of us have said he was injured, so there's potentially he has a real nice season. And if Rice gets suspended again, Coker, I love Coker. I think Coker. I don't want to piss anybody off, but I think there's actually a chance. Coker could literally be almost equal in value as Tet McMillan. I truly believe that. I don't think that's a knock on Tet. I'm not a Tet hater. I know a lot of people think I am. I just think Coker's that talented, and if he stays healthy, I think the sky's the limit for him. But it's a pretty good team. All right, go ahead with your question.
What do you think about this scenario? So you said about like Chiefs would have to trade up, and I'm thinking a lot like, what do you think of? Because I feel like
I know
this is just my opinion. I feel like the Cardinals might draft a tackle or a lineman, and so what do you think of Cardinals thinking like drafting a lineman at 3 overall? That's reaching, and then so basically what I'm trying to say is what is the likeliness of the Chiefs getting the Cardinals pick at 3, giving them the 9th and like the 40th or something, and moving down, or giving them the whatever. The Chiefs have like 3 picks in the top 40. So
unfortunately,
they make a trade.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Cardinals are very capable of trading down. They're definitely a trade down team. So, but maybe LaFleur won't. I don't know. The truth of the matter is, man, you got a guy like Sadiq, you got a guy like Jeremiah Love, and obviously a couple of defensive players too are gems in this draft. But if we're just talking skill position for a minute, Sadiq, Jeremiah Love, and then I believe Jordan Tyson are near generational talent. Like they're as generational shots as you can have. And if I'm the Cardinals, I'm not passing on one of those guys. And obviously you can't draft Sadiq. So you've got McBride. Yeah. You can draft Tyson, but you probably shouldn't. And Jeremiah Love fits perfectly. So I don't see how you pass on Jeremiah Love. If it's me, you could trade down a few spots and just take your, if you like a couple guys, if you're going offensive line or something, you're like, well, let's take Jeremiah Love if he falls in. If he doesn't, no problem. But I'm starting to think the Cardinals are very much in line with the Jeremiah Love mindset right now. But anything can happen with the Cardinals. They're also a team that is kind of don't get the best out of people, and that worries me. But again, new situation, new staff. It's kind of hard to just carry that over and say, oh, it's a Cardinal thing. But there is a problem within the organization that has been holding the organization back. Their lack of spending, and then they spend wrong when they do, and then they get afraid to spend again. Like Kyler Murray's going to scare the hell out of this organization from doing any big deal again. Because they didn't want to do it to begin with, but then they did it. I said they shouldn't do it. Hold on one second, boys. On the clock here. I timed out on that last pick. You guys like Jacoby Brissett here? I don't have a backup quarterback. Or do I go with... I don't think there's any running backs I want to take here. All right, I guess I don't know why I'm timing out. I'm looking at my phone and the board are a little off. Like I have some sort of delay on my phone. I had when I was talking about drafting Aiyuk or Hunter, I wasn't necessarily going to take Aiyuk. I just queued them both so that they're both sitting there, so to ask you guys the question, because I was going to go with whatever you guys voted. And it left Aiyuk in my queue, and I'm sitting here waiting for my turn, and it timed out on Aiyuk. All right, so I got Brissett. I'm on the clock right now. I'm gonna go Stowers here as my backup tight end. All right, Travis, what else are you thinking here? What do you think with Aiyuk? What do you think is going to happen with Aiyuk? Do you think that Peters is saying to himself, look, JD5 wants it. It's not a big commitment financially. If in fact what ESPN's John Keim is reporting is the way that it actually plays out. This is guesswork by him, by the way, but it's a guesswork by a lot of people. But if, let's say, they do a prove-it deal, and it doesn't really break the bank, it's a 1-year prove-it deal. First of all, I guess my two-part question. Do you think it's still worth the gamble, or is the risk of a toxic player in the locker room when JD5 had such a fragile season not worth the gamble? And number two, do you think that a 1-year prove-it deal will be enough to land him, or will a team out of the 30 other teams that need a wide receiver, will they give him a deal that makes the prove-it deal not an option, and you have to give him a bigger deal? Like, what answer both those?
I can't see any team giving him, even if they give him a 2-year deal, it'll be one of those 1-year deals, shaped as a 2-year deal type of thing, where they can get out after 1 year. Which, would probably make sense for any team signing them if they want to. But I don't really see it as that much of a risk, because there's gonna have to be things built into it where if he's an issue, it's cheap to cut him. Where he has to. I mean, look at what Diggs had to do for incentives and prove a deal for this year. Obviously, they cut him, but and he had been more productive more recently than Aiyuk had been, and so to me, it's not much of a risk. I don't know. I do it. And the other thing they have to consider is they only have 6 draft picks. So where they might be thinking in other years, we'll take a flyer on a wide receiver in the 4th round or 3rd round or something. They might not be able to afford to do that if they want to fill other holes on their team.
Another question here real quickly, and then I'll swing over to DJ and see what he thinks. I like what you're saying there. I know Husseini just crapped on him, and I just crapped on him, but in the 16th round, is there a shot Pacheco is somewhere solid? Because he's still sitting here, and for some reason he sticks out like a sore thumb as a player that's worth maybe taking a gamble on, because I could see him going somewhere where, like, Seattle could bring him in while they wait for Charbonnet. Right. Kind of feel like it's not a bad option here.
At least play like a goal line role, or get 120 to 150 carries somewhere. Like, those guys can add to your team in those late rounds.
Walker, Hendy, Scat, Algier, and Pacheco are my 5 RBs. My receivers are Puka, DJ Moore, Worthy, Coker, Dobbs, Hunter, Aiyuk. Quarterbacks are Burrow and Brissett. My tight ends are Bowers and Stowers, and I'm almost on the clock, and there's 4 more picks left. Pretty solid team. Is it my favorite? No. And sometimes, I always tell people, like, just because a draft didn't go well doesn't mean that approach was bad. It's just the board. Sometimes you find the right approach and you go, man, I was this close to getting these 2 guys. And by redoing it, you might get lucky and get it to fall a certain way. Mute yourself, rock out if you could. I'll be right with you. You get it to fall a certain way, and you just rinse and repeat until it does, because these are $5 or $10 or $3 drafts. And it doesn't mean just because it didn't work out. Like this one, I really like the approach. We have a couple people in here that have been kind of sniping a little bit. Let's see here. Oh, man, I'm in a timeout again. I have him in my queue, but Tunjus is a little bit early. But there's my 3rd tight end, which I always want 3 tight ends. And at this point, like, I need a backup tight end, I need a backup quarterback, and then I need 2 shots in the dark. So it's not a big deal to reach. But all right, rock out. You're live, real quick, my boy.
This is Lemon Drop.
Where's Lemon Drop?
Yeah.
Do I want a lemon drop, or where's lemon dropping?
Yeah. Where's Lemon dropping?
I don't know, man. And in the draft, I have no idea. I just hope he doesn't go to the place that we want an elite wide receiver to go. I hope that if the Giants do go with a one of the top 3 wide receivers with his 5 pick, they go Lemon, because Lemon's not going to hold Neighbors back. Lemon goes to Cleveland. That might be an okay spot for him. Lemon to Washington, I can kind of see it. And let me just continue to say this when I say what people think is like horrible, hater type talk when I talk about Lemon. I don't think Lemon is as good as everyone projects. I think he's an NFL player. He will be anyway. And all NFL players have talent. And there's no reason why, in the most ideal of worlds, if his mentals check out, and right now that part is in question because his interview process was so bad. People are talking about him not bombing it. He absolutely turned teams off, and they have no idea what he was doing. And a couple of the quotes were, if he had someone walking him through how to conduct interviews, they need to be fired immediately. And their teams that like essentially moving him down their board so much because of the interview. And it was every team practically that he visited with. That's the rumor anyway. We weren't there, so we don't know exactly what was said. But is there upside talent? Sure. Like if he goes to Washington and he becomes their number 1, like, maybe he still develops despite being a head case. Who knows? Or maybe he's not a head case and he's just misunderstood. None of us really know the answers to that. But what I'll tell you is what we're hearing about the possibilities of him being a little off his rocker, mixed with the fact that I already thought he was overrated, it kind of lines up for me to say I don't want to go near this, But that's just my take anyway. It doesn't mean that I won't change my mind if potentially we get into a situation where he's the number 1 wide receiver. He's a little bit more worth the gamble. He's sitting there in Washington. He's got a good quarterback and a future. He goes to KC and Rice gets suspended for the year because he's in trouble again, as we all know. So there's definitely a world where Mekhi Lemon can still get on my radar as the player I want to draft in the right spot, but I certainly don't have him in the top 2 wide receivers of this rookie class, and that's just the way it is. And no one has to agree with me. I don't care. It's how I feel. But I don't want him I don't want him in the best spot. Hell no. It's just a waste. We need Jordan Tyson to go to that Washington Commander spot. We need Jordan Tyson to go to that Tennessee Titan, number 4 overall spot. But pro days will do a lot, I think, of moving these guys around, but we'll see. What else you got, Rock Out?
Yeah, I think the Commanders might do a flyer on Aiyuk, but it's not certain. They also had a rumor that they might go after Mike Evans, so we'll see about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Mac Jones or Tua, guys? Mac Jones or Tua?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Do we think they're going to let him free? Will he be freed? I
was going to say that it depends on if he's starting, because if he's not, Tua's worth more.
Come on, bring in the Minnesota.
So my wide receivers are pretty deep, especially when you're talking about like the starters, and then I go. So I think I can go into their quarterback here if I want, which is not with 20 rounds is different. If you're in 18 rounds, you can't have 4 quarterbacks. But with this, I kind of feel like, with Joe Burrow's injury history, the way this team is built, Brissett's older, and who knows what's going on there. Mac Jones, who knows what's going on there. And the fact that I have as my wide receiver room, Puka, DJ Moore, Worthy, Coker, Dobbs, Hunter, Aiyuk, and Flournoy, that's pretty deep. So I don't know that I need to just stack another receiver, and I certainly don't need to stack another running back, I don't think. I could, but I don't think they're worth anything now. I've got 3 tight ends. 20 rounds, I'm going to go ahead and use my bonus on another quarterback just because I feel like it would be useful. Now there's one I'm going to mention in a second. I'm going to wait till I get closer to being on the clock. All right, Rock Out, final thoughts. I don't know that I'm going to be here much longer, boys. It's been a long week. I've been updating thefantasyfootballshow.com. If anybody hasn't checked out the new revamped thefantasyfootballshow.com, get on over and check it out. I'm telling you, the responses I'm getting are crazy. And I've worked on this thing so much. All mother freaking like the last 10 days. I'm on the least amount of sleep I've ever had in a stretch of time. And it's been worth it, though. This thing looks phenomenal. So go check it out. The draft simulator, the trade calculator, the lineup analyzer, the player pages. Like there are player pages with all the information you need on one page. A link to all the articles, the bold predictions, all that stuff is on the player page. You can click trade this player or trade for this player on the player page. You go straight to the trade calculator, loads the player in automatically. The player pages are off the hook. Rock out. Final thought.
Where is Brian Thomas Jr. playing in 2026?
I hope New England, but odds are Jacksonville.
Yeah.
All right, my boy.
He had a hinge on that, but yeah.
Or what if Washington got in there? That's
Never know.
Love that. I would love that.
I would love that for two LSU boys to get back together. That would be awesome.
I know. Hey, this might be something we start hearing buzz about. We might have created it. But yeah, JD5 to BTJ, that could feed families and fix some things. That could fix teams and feed families.
That would feed families, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shag Nasty says, love your show, Smitty. My new stop. Mike Washington Jr. to the moon. Yeah, I was gonna pick him in this draft, but he got sniped. Shag was right about to snag him. All right, guys, I'm either going Tua or Anthony Richardson. Who do I grab here?
I would take Tua. As much as I hate to say that.
I think Anthony Richardson's interesting though, just because like he could. But I want more shots at more starts, so I'm going to go Tua. But I think Tua or Mac Jones could be. There's a strong bet that's the Minnesota Vikings starting quarterback. So if that works out, that'll be a good call on my part. But there's a chance both of them aren't starting. So, but they're my shots in the dark, and there's a shot that there's a chance Brissett, Mac Jones, and Tua, none of them are starting. But there's a chance all of them are in some sort of relevant fashion. All right. Appreciate you, Rock Out. We'll see you tomorrow, pal.
See you.
Later, bro. All right. Husseini, final thoughts.
Just real quick.
Might do a dynasty. Real quick.
Imagine the two knuckleheads, because earlier you guys were talking about like potentially like Lemon, I agree with you with Lemon. I'm not high on him either, but like you said, if he lands in the right place, I mean, that's all that matters. But imagine two knuckleheads, Aiyuk and Lemon, both on Washington, two knucklehead receivers. That'd be funny. If Washington went that way.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't think it'll happen, but that'd be funny. Like, not funny, but like it would,
yeah. Ironic, I guess. I don't know. I don't want it.
Ironic, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, like two guys that are very questionable with no.
No thanks. Let's send.
Yeah, I agree.
Think about it. Where's the one team that a guy like Makai Lemon's going to go? If Makai Lemon's on a fast track to nowhere. Cleveland Browns. Like it's
that's where he goes.
The easiest call in the history of mankind. Is perfect slotting of 6. But the thing about Makai Lemon is he was supposed to climb to the number 1 wide receiver in the draft class. That's what everybody was trying to, will. They were trying to will it to happen. People that are like in the stats, like, oh, Makai Lemon is such a good player. And they're just pushing it. Well, his interviews kind of squashed that. So this might not even be a pick where you would see him go. However, everybody's board is different. And there could be a team or two that still have him as the number 1 player on their board. But it would make sense that the Cleveland Browns would like Makai Lemon and pick him and then him waste away over there. But we'll see. All right, Husseini, final thought, and I got to go?
Nope, nothing. Just want to say I'm excited. I know you say you don't know when, but I'll patiently wait. I'm just excited for that Wild West draft. I can't wait to draft in that league.
Yep, it'll be fun, bro. All right, later. Appreciate you.
Thanks, bro. See ya.
Later. All right, Husseini to the moon. DJ, final thoughts.
So just kind of connecting the dots, we have DJ up in Buffalo. The connection, of course, was Carolina. Brady was there, before DJ went to Chicago. And we have Rabo sitting there, in New England.
AJB.
And that relationship. Vrabel. Yeah, yeah. And then we have Aiyuk sitting out there, going back to the topic of the show. And this is my last statement, and I'll let you go, my man. By the way, best show on the planet.
Thank you. We might do a Dynasty
Aiyuk.
show, by the way, guys. We might do a Dynasty show. Someone can give me a good
the Aiyuk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so with Aiyuk, I mean, you know, I think that wide receiver diva thing is real, man. It's just it's like a plague, you know. But he's good. He's good.
He was good. He was good though. Like we haven't.
His head, right? His head is
right.
Like you said.
But he also got so severely injured on top of him playing like dog water, walking into that injury. You know, because he had gotten off the rocker. You know, he's off his rocker from the holdout and all that. And then he didn't play well. And then he got injured. And now he's just, it doesn't, who knows what's going on in his head. The things he's posting on social media, driving by the stadium aggressively, like all mad. You know, almost talking about like he's ready. He was talking about wanting a new deal and little nuances and things he would put in social media posts before he'd ever even, like this is before last year. Or mid-season, like something about like, you know, new deal, something like that. I forget what he put up on social one time. It was like a new deal. Like, what's he talking about? Like he hasn't earned a single dollar of his current contract where he got paid $30 million a year. It's almost like a joke that anybody would even pay him anything. You know, he owes the NFL. He should be playing for free for 1 year.
Oh yeah, he was stealing money, man. We call that stealing money, man. We call it stealing money.
But what I'm saying is, like, I would think it's a stretch to say he's good. We don't know what he is anymore, you know. But there's potential to be good. Potential to be good, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Let's settle on that.
Well, yeah. Let me jump way down. But more importantly, to your point, man, it's just between the ears and with these guys. I mean, you even have Rice, right? And in the years that Rice has played his off-field shenanigans, even with his bad year, Aiyuk has just been better. I mean, just talent-wise, route-wise. So I'll stop there with that. But yeah, you know, we'll end on that. But I think he could end up in Washington because, again, these are relationships that have, you know, previously been in place. AP aside, you know what I mean? Lemon, look, like I said, man, he's no like Randy Moss, you know. So the idea that his interviews versus his talent, you know, is going to keep him, you know, is what was coming in maybe the number one receiver. Yeah, that's not happening. And you know, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think had he had ideal size, you know, which he does not. You know, if he was quick, if he was a speedy guy, like one of the fastest in his combine, like was explosive. And then he was like bad interviews, and people were like, I don't care. This guy's, like you said, this guy's the next Randy Moss. That was in play. We'd have a couple teams saying we'll take our chances, but he certainly did not climb up. Being a smaller guy, not being the fastest guy in the world, and having the worst interview process we've heard about for some time. I think he's staying at least 3 on majority of boards. And then if there is a team that has him 1 or 2 on their board at wide receiver, what are the odds that that's the team drafting right there? You know, so like it does feel like the likelihood of one of the 3 wide receivers sliding being Mekhi Lemon at this stage, at least right here on March 5, it does feel like that is the likely scenario. All right, last thing, and then I got to jump.
No, man, I you know, that's basically it. It'd be interesting to see why Aiyuk does end up. The DJ Moore, I didn't get to chime in earlier, so I'll be 30 seconds. Heard earlier show, I was working on that. 30 seconds. DJ Moore up in Buffalo. And, you know, fantasy purposes, I think he'd be good too, right? Maybe he could be low end one. Just my opinion, whatnot. I mean, I think it's a good landing spot. And I would hope, I think the connection is that Brady, you know, was a part of developing like Moore, hitting his 1,000-yard season, which whoever's there in Carolina at that time. So I think it's a good thing. Better than him landing in New England, I think.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of the structure there. So that's my last thought, man.
All right,
Best
man.
on the planet.
All right, appreciate you.
Later, guys. Later, Ryan. Later.
All right,
Later.
Travis, final thoughts, and I think the Dynasty show will do like a 10 or 15 minute show real quick. Just a real short one. I might even put a timer on the screen, which I might start to do because what I end up doing is I'm like, God, I'm too tired for a Dynasty show tonight. But if I have a 10-minute timer up there and we have to end the show, no matter who's talking, and I got to end and maybe I got to hang up on the phone line with a minute left so I can, say my goodbyes or whatever. But we'll do a 10-minute Dynasty show. Go ahead, Travis.
Just a quick trade question. It's Dynasty, but I'll ask you here. What's that? Would you rather have JT or Olave? Someone's talking about trade. He's asking me about trading away JT straight up for Olave.
Am I winning now? Like, what's my team look like?
I think it's a decent team. Just have to pull it up to find it. I got it right here.
I mean, there's just so much that goes into that. What's the team look like? What's the build look like? Can I win now?
He's got Javonte, Hampton, and Brees for other running backs. His best receivers are DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Alec Pierce, DK.
DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson. That doesn't sound like a championship team, right? Read it all again.
No.
Yeah.
So the receivers: DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, MHJ, Alec Pierce, DK Metcalf, and RB's Javonte, Hampton, Brees. So
I'm not saying it's a bad team. It just doesn't feel like it's like, oh God, this is, let's sacrifice and go in. But at the same time, it's like in Dynasty, what's the sacrifice? Is Olave better? Or is JT better? I don't know. They're both kind of questionable, right?
I think they're very even. Yeah.
Olave, concussion concerns long term. JT, getting older, running back concern. I think, and he's got JT.
Yeah.
I think I'm just trying to trade for a different receiver, but I wouldn't mind it. I still think Olave is worth the risk potentially, but both those guys come with a lot of risk that I would just rather have a different player. I think there are other receivers like Ibuka out there, Hendy, and something, something like that.
Yeah, like use his depth, like trade, JT and DK, pick for something, upgrade.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
BTJ, like you could get BTJ and like JT might get you BTJ and Sadiq or something, like a pick, and like if you could come over with something like that. All right, Dynasty question or Dynasty show is going to be Josh Allen. Now that DJ Moore is there, and so we'll talk about the Bills, but Josh Allen. So come back, 10-minute show, timer on screen. Show ends at 10 minutes even. So call in as soon as I do the intro, Travis, if you want.
All right. See you later.
Bye. Guys, thank you for being here. Appreciate all of you. Everybody over on Rumble. I've got 420 Man FDX, Mikey, Aldi. Appreciate you guys. Everybody on YouTube, thanks for calling in and being here. And we'll be back. Don't forget to get on over and get your Patreon live chat membership. Link in description, patreon.com/the fantasy football show is another way you can get there. 24/7, 365 live chat, and then go check out thefantasyfootballshow.com. Revamped rankings, bold predictions, trade calculator, draft simulator. You can draft simulate till your heart's content. Mock drafts are boring. They take forever. People quit them, and you're just drafting against a computer, and it's the same auto pick each time. My draft simulator has variance in it. So it's not the same draft over and over. Even if you draft from the same spot and everything, it's a different draft every time, and it uses logic. Go check it out. I'll see you all on the Dynasty show in T-minus 5 minutes. Dynasty link is in the description of the video. All my people over on Rumble, let me drop the link on Rumble and in YouTube here real quickly for the Dynasty channel, so you guys can subscribe. So here you go, Rumble, hit that link. Boom. Here you go, YouTube, hit that link. Boom. See you all in about T-minus 5 minutes or less. I'll try and go quickly, try and load everything and go. Deuce.